Hi, I'm Zoe Carides, and tonight's story is about a friend of mine. JohnPolson overcame early obstacles to succeed as an acclaimed actor, film director, and more recently, the director of some of the world's most popular TV dramas. He's recently been back in Australia for Tropfest, a short film festival that he created, and has since become the biggest event of its kind in the world. This is his revealing story.
It's always been a very difficult business model, Tropfest, you know?
Thank you very much.
It doesn't get easier because as it gets more known and maybe even more attractive to sponsors and supporters, it also gets more expensive.
Stand by to cross the line.
I know in 2000 we had a lot of trouble and I ended up writing to 5 friends, basically Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, Lachlan Murdoch and Sarah Murdoch, and Russell Crowe. Those guys basically just wrote a check and said, here you go. And here we are still today because of that.
Pension, and it's going to give us a little buffer.
He's given a lot of people, not unlike myself, that didn't necessarily grow up in Sydney with all the cool kids, the opportunity and the right to say, well, I can do something too. He is an inspiration. He's been an inspiration for me. He's been an inspiration for, you know, thousands of filmmakers in this country and now around the world. I remember the first time I met John was I was introduced to him outside of the Tropicana, and he had an orange Valiant, and he was parked right in front of the Tropicana illegally with the bonnet of the Valiant up, and then he just walked in and sat down and had a cup of coffee.
Was that his trick?
And that was his thing. I said, "What's wrong with your car?" He goes, "Free parking." And I was like, okay, kind of interested. This guy's interesting. But then I found out that he lived with my wife, so I didn't like him after that. Took me a long time to get over that. Not really much to do with him, but just more to do with me as a caveman, and just to sort of be protective.
Got to know. So here we are, 3 days before Tropfest. The venue's looking fantastic. We're in good shape. We're rehearsing tomorrow. We had a little rain, not too worried. Actually made me feel a little bit better because it's been really beautiful weather this week, and I thought, I don't know if I can believe the weather's going to hold for that long. So I do sometimes like a little shower a couple of days before, just to chill out, right?
Today, it's Naomi Watts and Nicole Kidman and Simon Baker. You know, people have really done incredibly well.
We had a spare room and he needed a place to stay, so he said he would come and stay until he found the right place.
And I had a futon that was basically, this thing was full of dust. And the very first night I'm staying in that room, you know, I've always had a little bit of asthma, but by probably 6 in the morning, I couldn't breathe anymore, period.
Lo and behold, John is banging on my door, and he was like, "Naomi," you know, he could barely talk, and I just thought he was playing a practical joke. You know, this was our relationship. And I was, you know, of course, half asleep, and it, you know, didn't take more than a couple of seconds, but because I saw the colour, or the lack of colour in his face, and he needed me to call an ambulance. He was in very, very, very bad shape, and it was scary, very scary.
And Naomi, totally. I mean, there's not many people you can say, if it wasn't for that person, I'd be dead. She might be the only one.
There was a bunch of us that would spend a lot of time at the Tropicana, drinking coffee, having lunch, whatever, connecting there, you know, in lunch breaks from theatre rehearsals or whatever.
I get a job, I get a little bit of money, and then I'm out of work, you know, for months sometimes. So it's very frustrating.
So I think for John it was, listen, if you want to work and you're sitting around moaning about how there's no work, get off your ass and go and make a film with a video camera, or your mates from film school, or your dad's Super 8 or whatever.
I approached the owner of the cafe, who I knew pretty well, obviously, and said, can I screen it in the corner? I'm going to borrow a TV. And he said, fine. Not knowing if anyone was going to show up with a film. And 9 people rocked up about half an hour before, and they all had their pneumatic tapes. And 1,000 people showed up.
All I know is that it was, when we went to the second one, we were like, whoa.
Oh, no, it just
Because he had like
escalated.
5 big TVs. Like, where'd you get 5 TVs?
To the power of 10 to the power.
You know, and the barricades on the street.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wow, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And who knew that it was just going to keep going and going and going?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. John is a mover and a shaker. He can get anything done.
The Australian film industry have recognised Tropfest as a place to nurture young talent. It's a stepping stone between amateur and professional.
I'd say what you probably could be thinking about is who do you want to go on and have a big future as a filmmaker? In the last couple of years, we've had an eye to global expansion. We are launching Tropfest New York and Tropfest Las Vegas in June. Tropfest New Zealand is kicking off next January.
It's basically...
All my best friends are women, except for 1 or 2.
I think he's just, as a man, he's just more comfortable around women, and some men are. I'm reasonably comfortable around women.
And by the way, I got to interject, he is not flirtatious. It's not even a flirtatious Casanova vibe at all. It's not that.
Worked on you.
It's just, nah, that's not what it was. I hate to contradict you.
He's always done very
it's
well
not,
with the ladies,
yeah,
too.
but it's not...
Look,
that's
well,
not
you're a
his...
female perspective, this is going to be a male perspective.
Oh my God, we can't sit here and argue.
Yeah, we can.
So here we are at Tropfest night. It's about 5 minutes to 7:30, which means the show's about to start. We are hearing there's a little bit of weather, maybe even a lot of weather.
Let's go back to rock and roll when people just let go and let the music flow.
This is amazing. Yeah, it is amazing what he's done. But he's so, I mean, you know John, he's so passionate, and he's just able to get his friends, and he's able to then sort of rally people with he just loves films.
I'm just looking for a good night.
Rain? What rain? There's a vicious rumour going around that it's raining in Sydney. Look, it's a little disappointing, but the reality is it's an outdoor event.
I guess with any outdoor event, your worst nightmare is torrential rain that closes down the event. But, you know, Australians are a strong breed. They don't go anywhere.
I do have a unique ability to be delusional, but I have managed to convince myself that, well, at least it didn't rain during the day. At least all the people were there. At least Nicole showed up and Kate, and they didn't become divas and go home.
Anyway, the big winner, because it's raining, is...
Lemonade Stand.
I want to take a second to say thank you. These guys rock. They're still here in the rain. It's unbelievable. It sort of fortifies what Tropfest is about, which is putting together some great stories from some up-and-coming filmmakers and giving them an audience.
He's got such a little sort of pack of women that kind of... He's got like this little fan club of women. It's hilarious. Yeah, he's always on these little email circles, and it's
true.
It's 14
There'll be like
women.
all these women and John.
14 women and John.
And girls' nights.
It's like girls' night and
include John. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't get invited, but Polson can get invited, so I hate him for that.